Welcome to Triangle BNI. Today's show is brought to you by Simply Done Concierge. Folks, we can make money, we can make a lot of things, but we can't make more time. And sometimes we just need somebody to help us give us some time back. Folks at Simply Done Concierge will help you do that, running errands, meal prep, laundry, waiting for your cable guy to show up, help you unpack or pack your house, all kinds of things. So go to Simply Done Concierge. Let us know how we can help you, and I know we'll be able to give you some time back. Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Manning. Each week on Triangle BNI, we bring you a local small business success story. If you are not familiar with BNI, it is Business Networking International, the world's largest networking organization. Our little slice of heaven here in the Triangle is Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, and the surrounding towns. And each week, 32 chapters, about 540 members get together. And our job is to help each other grow our businesses. And our local small business success story this week is Holly Maxey, owner of EverFresh Cleaning. Holly is in the Visa V BNI chapter. They meet Thursday mornings at 7:30 at Hope Community Church on Buck Jones Road. Holly, good morning. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. How are you doing?
Good. We're so glad to have you here. I was worried when I saw you the other day to invite you on the show that Monday morning is when you get a lot of calls because people just totally mess up their house on the weekend.
Well, I do get a lot of calls, but given that this is 11, those are pretty much done by now. Hopefully, it'll be smooth sailing for the rest of the day, but you never know.
Is that and you focus on residential, commercial, and new builds. Is
Right.
residential the primary work jobs that you guys get?
Residential is primarily what we do. And then we also do a lot of post construction. So,
Ooh,
and then move in, move outs, things like that.
yeah. The post-construction, my brother and I, we, actually got into BNI as a commercial cleaning company. We did a couple of those, and those are different, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, they're hard work. You better be ready when you go in.
Yeah, you're washing down walls, and you got sawdust and all kinds of
Oh,
things
yeah.
in there.
And it's everywhere, and
Oh,
there's
yeah.
no escaping it, and if you I mean, you'll look down and you're like, "Oh, I'll get this right here," and then you look up and you're like, "Oh, man, I'm about to drag all that down to where I just oh, whoops."
And it taught me when you clean, it's top down, back to front, because it's
Absolutely.
no good in your bathroom to clean your sink and then wipe the light bulbs above you that turn on so you can see your dirty or clean sink, and after you do that once, you realize, "Let me start from the top."
Right, and then well, I still have a habit of I'll see something later that I'm like, "Oh, dang," and then I'll go up and then still have to do it all over again, so
Oh, yeah.
but either way, getting it done, that's the important part.
So what brought EverFresh cleaning dream to reality?
Well, I actually worked in healthcare for 10 years. And then I decided I wanted a change. I started cleaning and I did that for a couple of years, but I just realized that I felt like I had more to offer. I felt like I was working my days away, but I just felt like I was kind of wasting my mind. So I just decided to start my own company. I started out in a different area and gradually just kind of grew. I like it. I honestly I love it, but it gives me the opportunity to focus on cleaning, which I do love, and then also the management part that is an extra challenge.
I agree with you, having been in the commercial cleaning world, that industry can be difficult to hire to get the people you want. Is that the case these days with you since COVID and everything?
Well, it is. It's a challenge, but I try to kind of manage the growth so that when it's time, I'm not scrambling. So I have had really good luck in finding just amazing people. I love everyone on my team, and I really could not be luckier to have found the people that I have found.
How many crews do you send out on a given day?
So I actually have 4 ladies that work with me right now, and we typically, depending on how big the job is, we don't actually send crews. typically a person would have a regular cleaner. So it would be one person per house, depending on how big that house is. And then when you go into your things like deep cleans, post construction, move in, move outs, and things like that, you're going to have more than one person, a minimum of two, but possibly even three, four, five people. So, and then I count as that fifth person. So I just go in there and help out. But yeah, it's not always a cruise, so that actually is awesome for scheduling. We just do crews when we're doing those big jobs.
And it is interesting when you get into somebody's house to find out the 1 or 2 things that are their big pet peeves.
Oh, absolutely. And I actually ask before we even go, can you tell me anything that is a major concern for you, that we may not normally do? And usually that cuts down
Mhm.
on a lot of the things that I mean, I'll go put it in the notes and make sure you definitely do this every single time. And it could be, I mean, it could be just the way their pillows are kind of fluffed up. It's just these little quirks, but we try to get it right and get in there and make them love us and need us forever.
When my brother and I had our commercial cleaning company, we got a brand new account. There were about 5 of us over there cleaning one night, and it was a good size account. And we got a call the next day from the lady before I could call her and just check in, see how everything went. She goes, "Hey, really like the cleaning you guys did. We appreciate that. We're glad to have you, working in our place. But if you'll just make a note to whoever, there was one of the rolls of toilet paper that wasn't started." I'm like, "Really? Out of all of that, like 8,600 square feet, out of all of that, one roll didn't get started." So that told us that's
Right.
what mattered.
And then we'll fold the toilet paper. So I've had people do hey, the toilet paper in my child's bathroom didn't get folded, and that's their favorite part.
Yep.
So, could you guys please just make sure in the future? And I'm like, absolutely, no problem. 3 seconds flat, we'll
Yeah.
have it done.
Yeah, but again, it's what they want, but you're right, though, those questions up front, what's a must do and a must don't, and once you
Right,
learn
right.
those, yeah, generally, you send the right person who does a good consistent job, and you
Right,
follow the do's and
absolutely.
don'ts, that's good customer retention right there.
Well, and you have to think about it, people are paying, I mean, it's not free, it's not cheap. So, and this is disposable income. They don't need a cleaning company. So, I mean, really they could clean their homes themselves. So if you're not giving them what they want, and making sure to pay attention to those requests, then you're going to lose that business.
Do you remember the first house you cleaned? Your very first account for EverFresh?
Huh. Yes, I do. I severely undercharged. Um,
That's usually what we do, yes, yep.
I severely undercharged and I ended up being there all week.
Whoa, I need more okay, tell me why.
It was, um it was actually in Harnett County. It was, a man who had a rental property, and he called and he said, that he had this rental property. It was just in really bad condition, and he was wondering, if I could, wash the walls and things like that. And, I said, "Sure, no problem." He gave me the square footage. I said, "Oh, I mean, it was like 800 square feet." I was like, "Oh, that's no problem at all." And I got there and I quickly realized it was going to be a huge problem. It was a huge problem. And I was there all week. It was someone had smoked in there for
Mhm.
probably 20 years.
Yep.
Yep. So I was removing, picture frames off the walls and then realizing that that was not the color of the walls. That was the nicotine on the
Yeah.
walls. So it took all week, and then I did not go up on my price because in true BNI fashion, you do the job for what you quoted.
Mhm.
And I just, it was a learning experience for sure, and I've definitely made sure to ask a lot more questions since then.
And as long as you learn from it, it's good. And we learned
Oh,
that the
absolutely.
one of our first commercial accounts, or no, we would get calls occasionally from people we knew to come clean their house. And again, we kind of did the same thing. We didn't get the nicotine on the walls, but I learned quick that people have no idea how big their house is. Oh, it's
Right.
probably only about 1,400 square feet. We get there and we mark it off as 2,200. Like, oh,
Oh,
so
yeah, absolutely. I
that
had
yeah.
someone, ask for a quote, and, they said that it was around 300 square feet. And it was like, hold on. It was an event space, and they said it was around 300 square feet, but the dance floor was around 28 square feet. And I
Oh,
thought,
gee.
is everybody standing in the corner at this
Yeah,
wedding? What's going on here?
yeah,
Well, it was 3,000 square feet. So,
yeah.
which I suspected all along.
Yeah, and those are things you learn, but yeah, the nicotine on the wall is a bear to get off.
Oh my goodness, it was terrible. And then he asked if we could get the popcorn, scrub the popcorn ceiling.
No.
And I told him, I said, you're just gonna have to redo that whole ceiling. There's nothing that can be done with that.
He needs to get somebody that knows what they're doing to get a to clean up a popcorn ceiling, yeah.
Oh, for sure. And that was not me. And it still isn't. I mean, I cannot wipe down a popcorn ceiling. There's just
Nope,
no way.
no. How long was it before you got to hire your first person?
It was that so I spent, my first year just kinda growing my own, clientele. And then afterward, it was that second year. It was the second year that I finally did hire. Um, I had gotten to the point that I filled up my space pretty quickly, and then I was just happy having a full-time job to myself. It just hadn't even, it was several months later before I decided, "Oh, you know what? I could actually hire someone and grow." And so that's what I did, and I've continued to do that ever since.
So when you were cleaning by yourself, was it put on your, headphones or earbuds and just bebop around the house cleaning?
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
and I still do, and well, one headphone.
Yes.
But, because you never know when, a client's gonna talk to you or something like that, and,
Yeah.
you don't want them to think you just walked right
Yeah.
away from them as soon as they tried to speak to you. And that's what I tell, the ladies on my team as well, just because, it's polite.
Oh, yeah. What's on your playlist these days?
A lot of true crime. A lot of true
Oh,
crime. It's
okay.
all true crime, to be honest with you, so I'm very paranoid when I go to the food line. Um, always looking over my shoulder
Yeah.
like I know I'm next.
Yeah, my wife watches, a lot of those at night, the on Oprah's network and Oxygen and the ID channel. It's just the whodunit, the cold case, yeah. So
Right, well, I can only listen to my music playlist for so long,
yeah,
and then I'm like, "Give me some murder."
yeah. And so my brother-in-law, who married Becky, my wife's sister, she watches that too, so he and I laugh. If we ever go missing one day, you'll never find us because they know exactly how to do it.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you, it's on my TikTok, it's on my Facebook, I mean, my phone knows what I like.
And now you know how to, do away with the body or how not to get caught, let's just say that.
I'm not so sure because I've seen some pretty foolproof plans and they still got caught. So you just never know. You can never let your guard down. It could be 30 years, bam, you're in
Yep.
prison. So
Oh, yeah.
I'll just stick to you know,
Yep.
legal.
Now, there are certain industries we make assumptions for, and you are in one of those. Our assumption is if we were ever invited to your house, it is always spotless.
Yeah, and that's a hard one. It's a
Yes.
hard one. I constantly feel that pressure. Even though I know my own mother is not judging me, I still do the thing where I'm like, "People are coming over. Throw all the laundry in the closet," like, "Close all the doors. Just put the dishes in the oven. Just do away with everything." And I think that idea is also what makes, people typically so embarrassed or nervous to call a cleaning company
Oh,
because
yeah.
they think, well, their house is definitely perfect and they're going to be judging me when they come over. Nope, our
Yeah.
houses are not perfect. I do keep my home relatively clean, but that's also because I hire my own company to come and clean it. So
Smooth.
it's not that I'm slaving away in my house. My house is just like everyone's house. My teenage daughter's room is just as disgusting as every other teenager's room out there. So and that is one thing I would love to put to rest is that people are judging you when they come to clean your house. They're not. We all know.
Yeah. And I always found it funny that people like, well, so you'll be here at 11. Okay, that'll give me time to pick up before you get here. I'm like, then why are you hiring us?
Well, no, I mean, it is good, especially when you have, children and things with their toys all over the place and stuff like that. It's super good to go ahead and clean that stuff because if we go in really to take care of the things that are not touched on a day-to-day basis. Picking up is one of those things you do every day. Your dishes are something you do every day, things like that. But we're going in to tackle, your showers, your toilets, your baseboards, your floors, things that when you get home at the end of the day, you just don't have that time.
Yeah.
So we're happy to pick up. But then again, if it's really bad, then that's an extra half hour to an hour that we're picking up that ultimately the client's going to have to be charged for.
Yeah. I find it funny the assumptions people make when somebody walks in and yeah, no, what
Right.
I've found, Holly, is most people just don't care because if
Oh,
they know you and they know you've got a kid or two, a smaller kid, it's like, hey, we've been there. We know what a house with a 2-year-old looks like in general. No problem.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And so that those I'm not going to say my favorite clients, but I absolutely love going into a mom's house who is just completely overwhelmed. And probably because I've been there and I still am there. I mean, my daughter's 13 and she's out of this world. So, I get it. And just to be able to go in and completely reestablish the clean in her house and her come home with her kids and she doesn't have that, anxiety on her shoulders from looking around and just being burdened by it. I just absolutely love that. And I know they love it too. And it really makes it worth it.
Do you get the client who follows you around the house?
Yeah, I've had those. Honestly, I don't mind it at all. And I tell them, it's your house. I mean, absolutely. If there's something, I'm doing my job. So if I'm not doing my job, then I would have a reason to be concerned. But the worst thing that could happen is they make a suggestion, and I say, okay.
Yeah, because usually the first couple trips, you kinda wanna find out how they expect things to be left when you're
Oh,
done. So, yeah,
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. And, generally a client will give you a walkthrough. So you'll go in and they'll show you every room. They'll walk you through, kind of exactly what they expect and things like that, even though most of the things they say are things that we're already going to do. But, they do have a way of setting those expectations and things like that. So you're pretty clear moving forward.
Do you clean out many refrigerators?
Yeah, mhm.
Those are
We do
always fun,
refrigerators.
yeah.
We don't do them a whole lot, unless it's a move out just because, people have to take everything out of their fridge and out of their freezer, so but we have, done it with people, still there and taking everything out and putting everything back in. Um, I will say they're tricky, they're
Mhm.
tricky. You think
Yeah,
that
it's
it's
a fun
clean, and
guessing
then you
game.
pull out a drawer, and there's 3 inches of jelly stuck on there, so
Yep,
you never know what you're what you're opening up.
yep, and it's a fun guessing game on, "Hey, what's in this container?"
Right. My favorite is, "Oh, what is that sticky, slimy stuff? Let's looks like barbecue sauce, but is it? I don't know."
We have, in theory, spring coming around the corner. Now, we laughed earlier before we came on the air about fake spring, fake winter, who knows what we'll get, but in theory, the calendar tells us we have spring coming.
Right.
What are a couple things we need to look at to make sure our house survived this, mild winter?
Well, mild depending on who you ask,
Yeah.
first of all. And then, a couple of things you would definitely want to do, check your air filters. Look around at, your fans, the level of dust in your house. That's usually a really good sign that your air filters definitely need some help. Um, you're also going to, and just as spring comes in, you're going to have that pollen. Allergies are going to be through the absolute roof. So it's definitely just those little dust is the main thing. When it comes springtime, it's dust. And it's going to accumulate a lot of times on your baseboards and just those usual places, surfaces, especially master bedrooms, master bathrooms, those areas, and then your basic living areas.
I did our, master bathroom, just me and my wife there, and our master bathroom baseboards, and like, "Huh, thought I was here sooner than that."
Well, what people don't really take into consideration about master bathrooms is you have that dust that naturally just kind of gets built up, but also you have that moisture from the steam. So that dust is basically glued on there. So it doesn't take long. A master bathroom is usually one of the worst when it comes to deep cleaning, just because it does not take long for that to kind of settle in and really get comfortable there.
Yeah, that and if you're married to somebody with long, thick hair, right?
No, not at all. It's not true.
With that, like, okay, need to open up the drain to pull that hair out again, so which is fine.
Right, yeah. Honestly, I do that for clients, sometimes
Oh,
just
yeah.
because, I'm trying to wash something down, I'm like, "I can't take it anymore, this thing is so slow, I'll just do it myself."
I always find a way to work, grandkids into a show, and I have 3 of them now.
Oh,
My
how old?
youngest one is 3 weeks and 4 days, and she has 2 big dogs. They're wonderful,
Um,
they're nice, they're, uh, part I forget what kind they are, but doodle some sort of doodle mix, Labradoodle mix. One's
okay.
75 pounds, the other's 90 pounds, and they're just gentle as they can be. One of them just keeps sniffing her to figure out what's she doing here, and she doesn't smell like anybody else, right? What do we do for dogs on couches, dogs on the floor? How often should we vacuum? What's a good plan of attack?
Well, I got some bad news. There's nothing you can do. The
Good.
dog hair is there, and the only thing you can do is vacuum constantly. That's all you can do. I actually have clients that I go in their house and I just vacuum their baseboards. I don't even dust them. I just go on and vacuum them because once that dog hair gets stirred up in the air, it's going to settle back down eventually. And then you're going to go through about 4 or 5 times trying to get it out of there. So I try to, just suck it right up. Don't give it a chance to escape. I also have a lab, so I feel the pain. And yeah, vacuuming. That's all you can do is just keep vacuuming forever.
Should you get would it help to get them groomed more often?
Well, it helps, but when you have dogs that have that naturally high shedding coat, and then you have, like labs, how twice a year they're going to kind of shed their coat. It's unavoidable. Um, and then, you can have them groomed, but that hair is just going to keep coming,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah.
And that is just one of the things about being a dog owner. We love them just as much as our own children, but that hair is all over the place. Yeah.
So so far, so good with that. Like I said, the dogs one dog just doesn't care about anything going on in the house, and the other dog just has FOMO big time. And he will sniff her all if he can get his nose near her, he will just sniff her trying to figure out who is she and why is she here?
Well, he's gonna love her
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
for
No.
sure.
Yep, no doubt about that, and he will protect her, that's for sure. I like the green shirt. Is that the official uniform?
Yes, it is. And this is what all my ladies wear.
Okay.
Um, just green shirt, black pants. And of course I have a couple of polos and things like that in the closet, but this is our uniform.
What is the logo? I see the EF letters for EverFresh Clean, but what's the logo?
Oh,
The broom?
it's just a little, yeah, it's a little broom with like a little design around
I
it.
like that. Okay. Alright. How long did it take you to come up with the name EverFresh?
Not very long. I actually got on Google and I was just looking at cleaning names that had not been taken, and just with a little bit of a imagination and razzle dazzle, kind of came up with it eventually. Probably 30 minutes to an hour.
Nice, right? Have had a number of different BNI seats on the show, and there are some seat holders that get that, "Hey, while you're here, I have a quick question for you." Accountants, chiropractors, things like that, financial advisors. Do you when you're at a party or when people figure out what you do they pull you aside for any cleaning tips?
They do. They do every once in a while. And honestly, sometimes I just go in unsolicited with cleaning tips. when I see
Yeah,
See something, say something.
yeah.
And that's the approach I take. So if I see something that I'm like, hey, if you just do it this way, all those streaks will come right off.
Yeah,
Here, I've got an extra one in my car. I'll go grab it right now.
yeah.
I'm out here saving the world one, glass rag at a time.
When we got into cleaning and as we learned more of what works and what doesn't work, those Mr. Clean pads are gold. I love
Oh,
those
they're
things. Yeah,
amazing.
I love them.
Oh, I'm buying them, and I actually have some
Yeah,
being delivered tomorrow. I
yeah.
buy in bulk.
Oh, yeah, you can yeah, because you with a bad stain or something or tough baseboards or a door, yeah, you'll go through one in a heartbeat.
Oh, for sure.
But I
I mean,
love
you
those
start on
things.
baseboards and it's gone in 5 minutes,
Yep.
but you still can't beat it.
Yeah, I know, I know. Alright, so you mentioned your daughter. I always ask, and I ask this respectfully, I have raised 2 boys. I have 2 granddaughters now, 1 grandson, 2 granddaughters. So I'm looking forward to watching them being raised and being, a semi part of that as much as a grandfather can be. But how's that mother-daughter relationship these days?
It's good.
Yeah.
She is her mother's daughter. I'll tell you that. She's hard-headed. I was at that age also. I was the worst. She's actually quite a bit better than me, but she's great. I mean, she's considerate. I told her I was going on the BNI podcast, and she said she's trying to play it cool, because she's 13 now,
Yeah,
so she's too cool for mom.
yeah.
But she was like, "Oh, maybe you should send me the link, and I might listen to it."
Oh, that's right, no school today.
Oh, she has a half day, but
Oh, okay. Alright.
you know.
That's does your mom chuckle watching you 2 and watching her grow up and say, "Huh, seen that before?"
Mhm, mhm. Actually, I used to tell my mom that I thought she was secretly a witch because every time she would tell me something was gonna happen, it would always happen.
Ooh.
And she always she always would say, "When you get older, honey, she's gonna be just like you. You're gonna have a child, she's gonna be just like you." And I was like, "Mm, nobody's gonna be as bad as me, for
Well,
sure."
you said 2 things that I'm encouraged by. One is, you said she's better than you, and that's our job as parents, is to get our
Right.
kids in a position to be better than us, so I love that.
Absolutely.
And I dig hard-headed because she just I told here's the advice. I've got 4 nieces. Here's the advice I gave them when all 4 of them went off to college at different times. A, keep keep your money and your grades straight, and your parents will have no reason to get involved in your life in college. That's the first thing. Second thing is believe nothing a college boy tells you. So,
Well, I couldn't agree more.
yeah,
And I'm gonna write that down
yeah.
right now.
So I'm assuming though she's gonna bust some chops, probably already does. So that's
Yeah,
good.
she is, but I will say, on the flip side of the hard-headedness, she is generous, she's
Good.
kind, she's the kind of girl that, if she sees somebody being bullied at school, she's gonna go stand up for them. So I'm very proud of who
Good.
she is as a person for sure.
Now you have a sort of mixed family. You
Yes.
have boyfriend with 3 kids.
Yes.
And what's that like when everybody gets together?
It is wonderful. It really is. All the kids get along amazingly. And that was something that we were both, a little concerned about. Anytime you have a blended family,
Yep.
you're concerned about, the kids getting along. But yeah, they love each other. They all love each other. They're, when they're all here, they're riding their bikes together, they're, goofing off, playing games. So I really could not ask for a better relationship between them. And I was really shocked by how immediately they kind of all got along and attached to each other.
Good. That makes it easier on everybody, doesn't it?
Oh, so much easier.
Um, I was told to ask you, how were your holidays? Would that be a fair question?
For as far as
I
work.
think Christmas and New Year's, it was a leading question. I said, "Hey, I got Holly on the show Monday." "Oh, ask her about her holidays." I
Oh,
assume there was a funny story or 2 adults, 4 kids, nothing?
well, I mean, there was a lot. There was a lot going on. I mean, yeah, two adults, 4 kids, 2 dogs. We were all over the place, but I can't really think of
Alright.
anything over the holidays that
Well,
happened.
I'm
But
gonna
then
go back to
again,
my source and
things
say, "Yeah, not gonna quote you anymore," so I
Oh, no.
assume I figure something eventful happened or you guys had a trip somewhere and the car broke down. It's like, one of
You
those
know, to be honest with you, something really eventful probably did happen, and I cannot remember it right now. Um, and it just I mean, every day with 4 children
yeah,
is chaos, so it could have been something for sure.
very good. And I believe that. It's, February, what, 20th? I truly believe that.
Something
Yeah,
probably happened. I called 20 people just going crazy about it, and then the next day, something else happened, and I completely forgot.
yeah. So what drew you to BNI and the particular group you are in?
Actually, Mary Stocks, the rock star she is, she had contacted me on Facebook and she was working with a client who needed a house cleaner. So she decided to give us a try and we went out and they were really happy with everything. So at that point, she reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to do a 60-second presentation on my business, at which point, of course, I agreed because why not? And that's when I realized when I got there, where I was, what I was doing, asked some questions, found out what BNI was, did some research, and decided to join. And the chapter she took me to was the chapter that I joined.
And we had fun. We were at a visitors day this past Friday where there were, along with you and I, there were 51 other visitors, but that's what you're looking for when you get a visitors day to meet new people. And you and I were chatting, and you said, I believe one of the lines you gave me to lead into about 82 questions is that you're a country girl.
Oh,
All right.
absolutely.
So where were you born? Where were you raised?
I was born and done. And then I was raised in Coates, so about a 10-minute drive down the road from where I was born.
Okay.
Um, yeah, dirt road, small town. I know a lot of people don't even know where Coates is in the Raleigh area. I usually just say Benson because
Okay.
Coates is nobody knows. But there's 2 traffic lights. And then I've always thought it was so funny because at one of the traffic lights, there's 3 gas stations on all the corners. And I thought,
Wow.
why? Why all these gas stations? But okay. But yeah, I grew up down a dirt road. All of my family lives down that same dirt road. So we all grew up together. My cousins, we were all around the same age. So we had, I also have a twin sister.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah, so all of us grew up together, playing and just having a great time. And it was a really good childhood. I could not ask for better. And I wish my daughter could have the same.
Now, from what I grew up here in Raleigh, so I didn't have, well, of course, this was mid 70s, so it was a lot smaller than it is now, but I didn't have that same small town feel. But I've heard stories from friends where news was back to your parents before you got home at night sometimes.
Oh my gosh. Well, the news was coming from my grandma. She was the neighbor. So before I could do anything wrong,
Yeah.
I mean, grandma was on the phone, Polly's playing in the ditch. And so, and so you're just hearing screaming, you better get home.
Yeah.
So we were all in trouble all the time because all of our neighbors were snitches and they were all family.
Yeah. And you don't appreciate that until you are a parent. And so our boys, we lived 10 years in Daytona Beach. And that was basically both our boys graduated high school there. So it was late elementary school through high school there for both of them. And we would hear things from their friends' parents. And they're like, how do you guys know this? Like, the parent line is legit. And so now as they get older, like, just wait, your kid, you're going to know more about what he's doing than he thinks you'll ever find out. But it's a good thing to have that parent phone line's pretty good.
It is as a parent, as a child, the worst.
What was the first thing you drove and how old were you?
I was well, actually, I was, young. My dad, drove 18-wheelers all my life.
Oh,
So, yeah, so he would actually take us out on the road, and, we would all get a turn, to go for the week during the summer, and, he would, let us practice driving. So, I mean, we didn't get full control.
yeah.
he wasn't, but, he'd let us, hold the wheel and drive and things like that, so, I was pretty young, probably, 9, maybe?
Nice. Did you get bored in the cab going halfway or a quarter way across the country?
Yeah, yeah. I'd love to say no, but we'd all know that's not
Yep.
true. Yeah, but there's also quite a bit to see,
Mhm.
and, my dad always knew some of my favorite things, like the oil rigs or whatever. I don't even know actually what they're called, but they light up at night,
Yep.
and, they have these long, poles with these flames, different colored flames on them. And so at night when we drive by, he'd wake me up and, get me to go look at them and stuff like that. And we'd stop. I know we used to stop in West Virginia at waterfalls and all that type of stuff. So we had a lot of fun too. There was a lot of boring moments sitting there, but there was a lot of fun.
Very nice. Something to be said for a small town. I mean, you knew you had a bunch of friends there and a bunch of people, but word traveled fast, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I can tell you right now, I could go to the shortstop in Coates right now, and I promise you, my great uncle will be there, sitting there having a cup of coffee. I mean, it is very, very, very small
Oh,
town.
I may have to hit that one day and say, "Hey, I need a good Holly story." And I wonder how long I'd be there with everybody telling their favorite story.
Well, I don't know if you want to talk to me anymore, Mike.
Oh, I love stories. I love stories. So, speaking of, I know you've got some good, crazy cleaning stories. You have to because you're going into
Yeah,
people's houses you've never met. So, you were starting to tell one earlier.
yeah. Well, so I will say the majority of the time, they're not crazy. The majority of the time, everything flows smoothly. The worst thing that happens is we run over time and we need to ask for more time or, wrap it up. But yeah, we did have an incident in Harnett County where I had someone meeting me at a house. I had one of the ladies that worked with me meeting me at a house. And I was running just a couple minutes behind. She called me. She said she was going to be there. I told her I'm 2 minutes behind you. So she's driving. It's down a dirt road, and she calls me and she says, "Hey, I realized I went down the wrong. There's a Y in this road. I went down the wrong road, and I'm trying to back up, but I got my car stuck."
Oh,
Right. So, of course, I call my boyfriend and I'm telling her I have two phones. I have a work phone, a personal phone. So I'm on the phone with her on the work phone and I call him and I say, "Hey, can you possibly go help her get out?" And we're discussing logistics and she says to me, I can see a house right up ahead and a man has come outside and he's staring me down and he's making me a little nervous. Will you stay on the phone with me? Well, me being from the area, people get kind of funny about their land or their property. So I'm thinking, okay, I'll be there in just a second. And I'm just going to go up and tell him that you got your car stuck. Everything's going to be fine. No worries. And so then I hear her, she sounded like she was about to cry. And she said, "Holly, he's got a gun. I'm scared."
ooh,
And so I hung up my personal phone. I called 911 immediately. And I was telling them, what was going on and stuff. And all of a sudden, she just starts screaming. She's screaming at the top of her lungs. He's shooting at her car. So she actually was able to, in complete fear, get her car out of the spot that she was stuck in. And luckily, she did not mess up her car. And she just kind of floored it in reverse and she did get out of there. And it was awful because I could see where she was, but obviously at that point he's shooting at her. So I can't go down there.
yeah.
But I can see what's happening, and so she backs up a little bit, but she hasn't backed up far enough. And I'm screaming into the phone for her to keep backing up. Don't stop backing up until she gets to me. So we waited for the police. He did not get arrested.
Oh,
He did not. He said that he was shooting at a squirrel.
it was sitting on the hood of her car, right?
Exactly. It was a situation, but I was just so thankful that she was okay. And actually, the craziest part to me was afterward, I followed her to a parking lot close by and I sat with her for a while. Obviously, I gave her the rest of the day off. I mean, I'm not even, but I sat with her for a while just to make sure that she was okay to drive home. And she said to me, "Don't worry, I'm not going to quit because of this."
Oh, good.
And I said, "Well, honey, you're better than me because you would have been able to see my taillights all the way
Yeah.
home. I would have quit my job that day." But yeah, and it was not our client's home. So it wasn't anything that we could have known about. It
Yeah.
was just going the wrong way. And that man was down there um apparently doing that to everyone who accidentally went down there.
Oh, boy, okay. So
Yeah.
then the police had to have gotten that wasn't their first call about that dirt road.
That was not they were very familiar with him, and for some reason, they still have not done anything about it, so
Wow.
I'm not sure, but, it's very concerning, but I was so thankful that she was
Yeah.
okay.
I would imagine you get some pretty funny dog stories as well, either over anxious or just look you in the eye big, right?
Oh, I actually do have a great dog story. Cutest dog ever, he's a little Pomeranian, um, his name is Harvey. He's the most adorable little baby you've ever seen. And he just has this big, bright smile, you know. And the first time I ever met him, I walked into the house and he jumped on me, which is perfectly fine. I was excited to see him. He was just so adorable. And as he jumped on me, he peed. The bad part was he peed inside my shoe.
Oh.
I don't know how he managed to pull it off, but obviously I don't walk around with an extra pair of socks and shoes in my car. So now I'm just stuck working in pea socks and shoes at that point.
Oh, man. And I thank you for that story because when I log all the shows, I try to put a quick, story from that or a tagline, "Dog peed in my shoes" is gonna be how I
Good.
remember this show.
That's perfect. And
Yeah,
I feel like it really represents,
yeah,
me as a person and my company.
yeah.
Just
What you do and what you the struggles you work through, right? Yeah,
exactly,
I like that, I like that. So real quick, what's it like to have a twin sister?
the best.
Really?
The
Okay.
best. Yes. It's like, if you could imagine your very best friend in the world, except they're with you 24/7. So, and we did everything together. So all of our extracurricular things and stuff like that, we did all that. We shared a car when we turned 16, of course. Which there was a lot of fighting about that. But to this day, we talk every day. She actually lives in Texas now with her husband and her children. But yeah, we talk every day still. And when we do see each other, it's like you never missed a beat. She's my best friend always.
I hope her name is Molly or Polly.
Well, I hate to tell you this, it's Heather.
Eh, okay, that's 2 H's. Alright, that worked.
And then
Who
my younger sister, Haley. They're all H's.
perfect, yeah, naturally. Who's older, you or Heather?
I am older by 1 minute.
Okay. Fraternal or biological?
Fraternal.
Okay. Do you guys resemble each other?
Very much. Very
Okay.
much.
Did you
People
play
usually get us mixed up.
did
Yeah.
you play any pranks on boys in middle school and high school?
You know it. Oh my goodness. And actually my boyfriend now was my boyfriend then, when I
Oh,
was 13. So, she would get on the phone and be like,
yeah.
"Hey, I love you." And then, when he did the "I love you" back, she'd be like, "Ha ha, it's Heather. Here's how." So, yeah, we did quite a bit of that, and it got really, really old to all the boys we dated. At one point, I dated a guy who was a twin, and then I was just so excited that I was dating a twin, and I thought she should date his twin
Yeah,
so that we could all be twins dating. I was a lot more enthusiastic about being a twin than she was.
okay. Yeah, nothing could go wrong with that story, right?
No, it would have been perfect,
Yeah.
but she refused.
Yeah.
So,
Did you swap clothes? Do you have the same taste in clothes?
yeah, for the most part, we did,
Mhm.
and we shared clothes. We
That
always
helps.
shared clothes. To this day, sometimes we
Yeah.
still share clothes. So,
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I've heard, I don't have that running through my family, so I don't know what that's like to talk to you on a regular basis, but for the most of the people I talk to that have a twin, they're big fans of it. They enjoy it.
yeah, it's great. I mean, it really is. It's like growing up with a best friend. And actually, our daughters are the same age. So we were pregnant together. We had our daughters together. You know, they grew up for the first, I think, 7 years together.
Oh, wow.
So yeah.
All right, very good. So you gave us 2 good spring cleaning tips. Check filters and ceiling fans for dust. Give us one more good one somebody can do this week in their house.
Let's see. I'm like looking around my house
Or what's
to see.
something we don't clean along the air filter line? What's a place in the house we and baseboards that we don't clean enough but should?
Another place that people do not clean enough, it would be your blinds
Yeah.
and your windowsills.
Ooh, good.
Yeah. And usually your blinds are pulled down, so you don't even notice your windowsills.
Yep.
And if you go look at them and you haven't seen them in a while, I'm sure you're going to be shocked.
You'll see a couple of dead flies and a lot of dust and maybe a spider.
And if you have pets, the hair,
Ooh.
it builds up so much on your windowsills. Yeah.
Always comes back to the dogs, doesn't it?
Always, always. If you have dogs, blame everything on the dogs.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
There you go. All right, so we've been putting Holly's phone number up on the screen here throughout the show. Please give her a call. If you can outsource something in your house, we've learned that a lot of people hate to clean and hate to do laundry and hate to meal prep. So one of the things take off your list, a belated Christmas present to yourself, is to hire EverFresh cleaning. So Holly, we've enjoyed it. We wish you luck in 2023. Glad to have you on the show today.
Thank you. It was great to be here. Thanks for
Yeah.
having me.
And yeah, it's just one of those things. Boy, if you could ever pamper yourself, it's get somebody clean your house, right?
Oh, I'm telling you, there's nothing like it. And actually, I've gifted my family, you know, having their house clean and then have them become clients
Yeah.
because after they have it done, they don't want to live without it anymore.
Yeah. Tell them the first one's on you. Those after are on them, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'll help you out, but it'll be on my terms, you know.
Yeah. And it's a marginal family and friends discount, right?
Very marginal. Very, very
Very good.
marginal.
Well, Holly, thanks for being on the show. We've enjoyed it very much, and we will see everybody next time on Triangle BNI.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.